These four pillars, these four concepts is what's really made me look at the whole notion of delivering a child and birth completely differently. So our journey started almost 10 years ago, where I met my wife, and one of the main reasons, one of the kind of the essence of our attraction was the fact that neither of us wanted to have children. We wanted to be in love, grow old, and live a happily life. And after 8 years of marriage, we kind of started talking about it. We opened up to the idea of having children, and we kind of, instead of asking why have children, we said, why not? So we were back and forth for many months. We talked about it, and every time we were around children, we realized how much joy and positivity they brought to our lives. And then we would come back to our day-to-day life, where I live in a high-tech world and I kind of consume myself with work, and so does she. We were back and forth. We couldn't decide if we wanted to have children or not. So my wife finally said, let's just leave it up to the universe. Let's try and see what happens. So on a beautiful, intimate evening in Colombia, we found out that we have a child, and our lives changed. 3 or 4 months into our pregnancy, one of our friends mentioned a training course they'd taken and introduced us to the notion of hypnobirthing. So my wife researched it and asked me to tag along and be a part of that journey with her and kind of go see the classes. Again, I didn't have a particular preference. I just kind of, as a supporting role, I went there to support her. And it was eye-opening. It certainly, from the first moment when we did the visualization exercise in the class and we talked about the basis of the training, it had my attention. I was in it. Long story short, what I wanted to share with the fellow fathers and partners is what I went through and what I learned through this amazing journey, hoping that we can use some of that information and make this experience whatever you want it to be. So my wife started laboring at home, and after a few hours we kind of went to the hospital, and we had arrangements, and she delivered our baby. And after all this stuff was completed, it was done, I kind of had to regroup and kind of get my mind back together. And really what I came up with was these 4 pillars to the most amazing journey of my life. These 4 pillars, these 4 concepts is what's really made me look at the whole notion of delivering a child and birth completely differently. First and foremost was trust. Trust, presence, unity, and love. I had to establish a trust relationship with this notion of delivering a child into this world. And this trust, it was very apparent. I looked at how, from the moment of inception, universe stages and trains and sets up mother to be successful. And there is no way that it will let you fail. Look at thousands of years in history, and mothers are designed to nurture and deliver a child to this world. So, and if you look at it, in the 9 months, we didn't have anything to do with this. This embryo turns into a being. And so I had to trust the universe and universal love that it will set up my wife to be successful. It will set up our child to be successful. Then the notion of presence is the point that you find yourself falling out. You're going to have doubts as a man, as a provider, as a protector. You're going to look at things and you want to constantly change it. You want to do your best to provide for your family. But again, you have to trust the universe. You have to go believe in that mothers, your partner is able to do this and is able to do it very well. There were moments where I would have doubts. I didn't want to see my wife in pain. I was associating delivery of a child with excruciating pain. and you have to be in the moment. You have to be present and deal with what's on the table. And what's on the table is the fact that she has chosen to go this route. This is her path, and I'm there to support it. So this notion of presence comes handy, and you have to always focus on the moment, in that moment, and it's all about the mother and the child. Third pillar was the notion of unity. And when I talk about this, it kind of reminds me of the movie Avatar, where the whole tribe gets together and hold hand, and then once they establish this big circle, they plug into Mother Earth, and then they start meditating, and they connect into the entire universe as one. And that's a part that I learned to do. And again, going back to the notion of delivery, to me it was an absolutely crazy idea to sit there and watch my wife in pain. But she was wired differently. She's welcoming every surge as an opportunity, as a step closer to delivering a child into her arm and then into this world. And if I was to be disconnected from that, then it defeats the purpose. I would have no purpose in the room. So what I focused on, being one with my wife, believing the fact that this is what she wants, this is universe is lined up for us, and I had to plug into it. I had to become one. So you put all the doubts aside, kind of going back, you put all the doubts aside, you live in a moment, you're right there with her, and you go through this journey with her. So you're no longer, if I was to sit back in a room and watch this thing, I'm an outsider and I've broken the chain. No longer we're in one unit. And last but not least, this notion of compassion and love, the strongest bond of all. And from the moment we walk in the delivery room, that could be your house, that could be the backseat of your car, that could be birth center, whatever the case may be, compassion and love is what sets up the stage for this child to come into this world and see it in her own eyes and experience it. So from the moment we walked into, our doula came, we started with hugs and kisses. We hugged each other, we held hands, and as we drove to the hospital, the moment we walked in the hospital, every staff got a hug and a kiss from us. And we set the stage, and the moment the child came, I hope that I can show her someday that she came to a room full of love. And it was an amazing journey for all of us. You can't do this type of thing just because. I think the training, you have to have some guidance, you have to have the tools. Now, whatever that case may be, for me, it was the training I got through BDC. But again, I'm not publicizing, I'm not telling you what to do, but I think you have to have understanding. You have to really know what you're getting yourself into, and you have the right tools to execute. It's very important to have not only the tools, but the guidance. Because as you go through this, it's an extended period of time. It's a good stretch of work, and really, without having a doula or somebody who's guiding you through this, who's experienced, things may look different. Again, it's all about perception. Things may look worse than they are. They may look easier than we think they are. And I think without our partner, without our team, which was our doula, our BC trainer, I think it's not doable. It's very difficult, and definitely our doctor. Everybody was in sync. When we were going through our classes, our training, we talked about building a team, building a successful team, and setting up the team to succeed, and it's really important. She will thrive on. She will need the help that she gets from everybody.